Can you hear can you see the screen right now?
Yes.
Like
It's a slideshow mode.
right.
Mm.
Yeah, I think it's better off to show it like this. Okay, so today what I'm trying to explain to everyone is trying to share with you the FX sell down process. Like this process is done on a daily basis, and I think like everyone from different asset class should get an email from us on a daily basis already. So I try to explain to you more about the process, how it is done, and what is our expectation from each PC team. So in the FX sell down process, as I mentioned, it is done on a daily basis. So it is consistent across all the Asian sites. So all the APAC sites, be it a large size, small size, the process is exactly the same. It is done on a daily basis, and it is done for the whole balance sheet. It doesn't matter what business you are, even though we are in MSS, but the whole process is actually covered for the whole bank in the balance sheet. So in Hong Kong, our process is a little bit complicated due to the size of the balance sheet, as well as we have a different asset class and different business lines. Hence, the issue that we encounter is much more complicated and much more frequent compared to other smaller sites. And the other distinct difference is the process is being monitored by PC team in Hong Kong, whereby in the region, I think a lot of the satellite sites are actually being handled by GMMO. In Hong Kong, we have a system or a screen called retail accumulator, which is essentially a representation of the overall exposures from the bank, like the FX exposure of the bank. So anything that is not getting managed by MSS is actually reflected in the retail accumulator. Right now, this image of retail accumulator is actually presented in River. If River, if you're new to the team or new bank, is a primary trading system for cash FX. So our FX forward, NDF, Flexi forward are booked in River. River is the trader main, like the primary trading system. And within River, there is a designated portfolio which is set up as an image of the retail accumulator. This is the view of a retail accumulator, so which is very similar to any other portfolio in River. So as you can see, in the screen there, a designated portfolio, it is RA, represent a retail accumulator, and it is breakdown by currency and all currency against US dollars. If you have access to River, you can also set up a screen like this to view the exposure in retail accumulator as well. For myself, I set up already, so it is a default screen that I can view anytime, anytime, any given time. If there is an issue that a trader wants to discuss with us, then I know for sure, how much he's talking about. And similar to you, if you are interested to know what is actually in RA, then if you have access to River, you can do the same and set up this view as well. So you just have to select a designated portfolio. Okay, so we talk about FX sell down, retail accumulator. So what exactly is that? Like I think in short, retail accumulator consists of different items. So the biggest item or the most relevant item that is related to other PC, non-FX PC are the FX exposure coming from the P&L. So the P&L impacts the exposure in retail accumulator because P&L can be in non-functional currency. So I think you can have P&L in Aussie dollar, US dollars, Japanese yen, CNY, CNH, whatever. All these P&L in non-functional currency create an FX exposures in the bank. So that's why we want to have a centralized view to actually accumulate these FX exposures and getting it managed separately. And right now, this role is handled by the FX desk. For businesses that select to manage their own exposures coming from their P&L, we can do that. Like we set up an auto buy-in process. So on a daily basis, when this P&L is sell down to retail accumulator at the same time, an auto buy-in ticket is also generated for businesses selected to manage their own FX exposures. That will transfer the exposures from this RA portfolio back to respective business. So I think for equities, that is by default. So every day you will have a large number of the auto buying ticket transferring the exposures from RA back to your individual businesses within equities. I think similar in other business EM rates or even within FX as well. In addition to that, other components also have a impact and contribution to the retail accumulator. This is more relevant to the FX PC, less so to other other PC or the stakeholders. But I think it is nice to note as well. So I try to go through these items quickly. So we have the notified and non-notified FX transactions. So non-notified FX transactions will have an impact to RA. Basically, what happens is like these are all small notional retail transactions coming from the branch or the other non-MSS client. So when client transact FX in this small notional, we don't hedge it immediately. These exposure flow into RA, and the trader manage it during the day. They will just let the flow to get accumulated, sometimes offsetting exposures, sometimes getting accumulated in a certain amount, and he will then manage it and then transfer the exposure from RA to his own trading portfolio. The other items that could impact RA is accounting breaks or breaks in notified FX transactions. Notified FX transaction means like large notional FX ticket. Sometimes the ticket is booked incorrectly, either by wrong notional, wrong amount, or non-offsetting direction. This can also be a contributor to the exposure in RA. And retail buying deals is the hedge deal that the trader book to transfer the exposures from RA to the trader portfolio. And the foreign currency P&L, as I mentioned earlier, that is the component which is more relevant to all the PCs. And the last item is the force balancing entry from FTP. From time to time, there are accounting breaks happening in the ledger, and these force balancing entries would have an impact to the retail accumulator as well. I think actually we have some large breaks today, still due to that. So this is just this different diagram is just trying to show you the flow of how the exposure is getting reflected in the retail accumulator, and how the risk is transferred from retail accumulator back to the relevant trader portfolio, and also how it is getting reflected from in the risk system, and once the exposure is transferred to the trader portfolio, how it is getting managed. Either in this example on the screen, the FX risk is actually covered in the market, or it can be covered by another offsetting flow. There could be many ways to actually manage this position, or even sometimes trader will hold this position with a view that it is actually a benefit for the trader to hold this position for a certain time period until recovery in the market. Yep, this is another diagram of different kind of FX transaction. This is notified, and the one prior to that is not notified. The flow is similar. Timing on how the risk is reflected to RA is slightly different. For non-notified deals, the risk is reflected immediately in RA, whereas for non-notified deals, the risk is not reflected immediately. It is reflected on T+1 along with the FTP batch. The main reason with that is for non-notified deal, it is expected that the risk is hedged already, so that it doesn't have to be reflected on a real-time basis. This is just an example of how the retail buy-in deal looks like. I think we still use the screen in Treat. It is still relevant, but I think we're using more the image in River as well. I think there is something that you may be aware of. For auto buying deals, even though the ticket looks very similar, but the broker ID and the trader ID, there is a designated broker ID and trader ID in the ticket. I think Star RA or something for all the auto buying tickets. Okay, so this one is about the foreign currency P&L. And I think I mentioned earlier, sell down happen on a daily basis, and first thing in the morning at around 7:30, FTP sends out an accounting file to River. So the file is called FX opening positions. River will use this file to update the FX exposure in the retail accumulator. So basically what happened is it reversed the Friday FTP file and then repost with the current date. These files contain all the balance sheet accounts. So all the account 1, 2, 3 accounts are included. So when we say about the sell down only happens on the balance sheet account, not on the P&L account. Even though the P&L plays a part to the exposure, it is because when the P&L is posed in the ledger, the other side is always the balance sheet. Okay? So either cash or market. And right now the process is once the exposure is updated, our trader will refresh this, have this screen refresh, and then he started to send us email asking us to investigate material exposures. So there are agreed monitoring threshold between us and the trader to monitor the material exposures on a daily basis. Nowadays, Eugene or Diana will look at these exposures, investigate, and then started to query and check with you got all the guys on PC as well as other teams about these bricks and exposures. And at the same time, when all the buying is booked, your trader will probably see the exposure as well early in the morning at around 8 o'clock in the morning. And one thing to note is when we say about P&L, the cost involved, the cost of funding is not included in the FX sell down process because COF is an internal cost allocation between business line and corporate center. So COF is always excluded.
So net impact across the businesses have always flat.
Yeah, that's right. So if there is charge to one business, there will be a gain in corporate center. So from a bank perspective, always net off to zero. So when auto buying is set up, I think you guys are all aware of that. It is always against US dollar. So the ticket is always against US dollars. One thing to note is US dollar P&L, there is no auto buying setup. So any US dollar P&L, even though your book has set up with the buying, the dollar exposure, it is no buying. On the other hand, I think that sounds quite strange. For Hong Kong dollar P&L, there is auto buying setup. So if you have Hong Kong P&L, then your Hong Kong dollar P&L actually has will generate a auto buying ticket against US dollars, largely because our trader the P&L is in US dollars. That's why the setup is as such. Okay, this slide, trying to, give you a demonstration of, how the exposure is transferred, in the FX sell down process. So, we start with, the accounting entries from, PTS, from Spark, Flare, Treats, and then this sends out to FTP, and after the FTP overnight running process, opening position file will be sent to River, and River updated in the designated retail accumulator folder, and then the flow is how the risk is transferred from RA to the trader portfolio. Okay, we talked about the foreign currency P&L, and from time to time there could be issue on the P&L itself as well. So when our team sends out the notification and email to all the PC, we expect to get reply from you guys about whether the P&L is valid or not, and we require you to actually respond to us in a standardized format so that we can actually collate and get a consolidated reply back to our trader to advise how much P&L should be held in case there are issues. And also please note that the P&L when we say the P&L impacting the sell down process, it is only any P&L hitting the ledger. So any VC adjustment. So if there is P&L only are reflected on the VC side. It's not, it doesn't impact the FX sell down process because nothing is actually posted in the ledger. Yeah, I think, please take note to that.
So if we have any adjustments to correct the P&L on the VC side, we need to notify that.
On the VC side, like if you only make adjustment on the VC side but not posting to the ledger, then that won't have an impact to the FX sell down process.
But if the ledger is incorrect, we need to.
Yeah, if there is any problem with the ledger P&L, the post like the posting to to FTP, then we expect each team to actually let us know how much is expected to to hold back.
Do you have a threshold?
Yes. There is a standard template I think created some while ago, and also kindly look that we expect everyone to respond to us by 2 p.m. The timing is critical. Especially in the last few months because of the volatility of the market. Trader usually wants to get the reply as soon as possible. Sometimes Eugene Diana will give trader heads up of how much it should be held back and how much it's good to go so that they can manage a little bit earlier. And even nowadays, even the Hong Kong dollar or the US dollar P&L, if we have issues, they want us to let them know as soon as possible as well, because even the Hong Kong dollar spot rate has moved quite volatile in the last few weeks as well. Okay, you asked about the reporting threshold. I think the general rule of thumb is like any non-Hong Kong dollar, US dollar, it is 300 US dollar equivalent. US dollar is 5 million and Hong Kong dollar is like 39 million HK. This one's quite small. Don't worry about it. I will include this fact after the call. This is just trying to list out, the potential issue that we encounter, impacting the retail accumulator. And I think in short, for foreign currency P&L, we expect everyone to respond to us, on timely manner and also to make sure the amount is accurate, and also the direction. I think that is very important. And I think like my experience is sometimes the team's response is not clear. In particular, if there is a reversal or the actual adjustment. I think that's very important because like if the exposure is actually coming from a reversal, and certainly we do not expect that reversal to hold back, and we need to know about that and make sure we don't respond to the trader incorrectly. And the other thing to note is, like I mentioned about the timing, it is important, and also the accuracy, because if for some reason we have we gave incorrect advice to the trader, he will probably come back to ask for compensation. It happened, I think quite often. Usually not on the PC side, but for other business as well. Yeah, I think just bear that in mind, and by all means, if there is any question or anything unclear, you know, come contact us, Eugene, Diana, myself, anyone in the team, we will help to clarify. It's better to actually discuss and clarify, instead of, having an unsure response. And I think that's better for everyone. I'm going to stop here. And do you have any questions?
Hi, Albert. So,
Yes.
can I have your help to outline what if we missed out something or we miscommunicate the adjustment to RA team? What would be the consequences?
Okay, so for example, if you have advice and an incorrect exposure to the trader, and when the reversal comes in the next day, then the offset will not be perfect, right? Because, like, for example, if you ask the trader to hold out like 10 million Aussie, and it should be 5 million, then the next day the exposure will come in, by reducing one half instead of the fully offset. Then the trader will have to cover in the market of the 5 million, and because of the movement of the spot rate, usually there will be cost or benefit incurred. It could be a profit or loss depending on the market. That's why I think it's important to give an accurate amount, and also the direction too, right? Because, like, if you're supposed to ask the trader to leave a long position, and you have advice the other way around, then the next day when the correction comes in, then it becomes double.
Thanks, Albert. Thank you.
Yeah. So just bear that in mind. I think, like, if you're new to the process and new to the in HSBC, I think it's quite overwhelming initially. Even myself, it took me a while to actually getting all these understood. Even nowadays, I still have to ask my team to clarify something, because I don't look at these and deal with the process on a day-to-day basis. So if I'm away for a little while and try to look at that again, there are things that sometimes I get confused as well. So don't feel bad to ask questions on the process. So any questions, like, in the room, and also, like, on the line, like, if anyone anything want to raise, you can bring up questions after the call as well. Send us email, send me email, and we're all happy to actually explain the process and answer any unclear steps.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So in general, for equities, we have auto buy in books. But is there a way, like an indicator, to know whether a certain book is auto buy in or not? Like, is there a system you can see that?
I think right now it is we call it in HMS. So in HMS, when you download the query, I think there is a field to specify whether auto buy-in has been enabled. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So I'm going to end the call here today, and I think thanks Charles and Phoebe to arrange to record this sharing, and I hope it's going to help the team to understand the process better. Okay, thanks a lot. you.